No more fake news about GTA coming out and release dates. We officially have it, folks. Rockstar just announced that tomorrow, December 5th at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, they will be releasing the first trailer for GTA 6. Now, in this video, we're going to be taking a look at the Take-Two Interactive stock, which is the owner of Rockstar, and we're going to be taking a look at how this trailer and game in the future could be affecting this stock in a major way. In addition to that, we're going to be looking at a CNBC video that was published 6 months ago where they sat down with the CEO of Take-Two Interactive, and we're going to be seeing if we can get any information about potential earnings in the future from this interview. If that sounds like something you're interested in, then stick around. But before we get into that, we'll do a portfolio update real quick. So year to date, the portfolio is up 45%. It's currently sitting at $91,000. And for those of you that don't know, we are in a series right now called Road to 1 Million. I'll be tracking this portfolio that you see on your screen right here all the way to $1 million. You'll be able to see my trades, which are typically weekly, the dividends in a nearly six-figure portfolio, and any upcoming trades that I have. But without further ado, let's jump into the video.
Artificial intelligence has been one of the biggest themes throughout earnings season. One sector ripe for disruption is gaming. Joining us right now with a look at his company's AI strategy and much more is Strauss Zelnick. He is the CEO of Take-Two Interactive. This is his first television interview since the company reported fourth quarter results last week, with revenue beating the street and signals of a very strong future slate of games. And I think that's the headline here. Strauss, thanks for coming in today.
Thanks for having me. Great to be here.
All right, so this was huge news. You are not somebody who, is big on theatrics or is into hyperbole or any of those things. But last week, when you talked about your earnings and your guidance, you said that you're going to be looking at more than $8 billion in revenue next year for games. And that's 45% ahead of the midpoint of the street's estimates on things. That is huge, huge news. And it's got people speculating that you've got to have Grand Theft Auto 6 coming out.
So we've said that we're working on the next iteration of Grand Theft Auto, but Rockstar hasn't announced a release date yet. We've been working on this huge pipeline. We have 36 titles coming to market in fiscal 25 and 26, and we obviously have high expectations. And you're right, we typically don't talk about future years. We typically give guidance, and we try to go right down the middle. That's what we're supposed to do. In this instance, we wanted to give the street the transparency it's been asking for. So we basically gave an outlook for this fiscal year and subsequent too. And what's interesting is we have high expectations for fiscal 25, but we also expect sequential growth in fiscal 26.
I mean, you look at the stock jump, it was up more than 10%, more than 11%, I think. This is huge news because you have a lot of new properties that are coming out, but you're usually pretty conservative about new things that have not been out there in the past.
Generally, we like to have success before we talk about it.
So what makes you so sure this time?
We've been working on this pipeline for a long time, and we have a pretty good ability to predict the performance of new iterations of existing franchises.
Like Grand Theft Auto?
And we have 14 franchises that have each sold over.
I'll pause the video right there and we'll break some things down. I just think it's funny how she keeps asking him about Grand Theft Auto and he keeps dodging the question. But I think it's important to note he did mention we have been working on this pipeline for quite some time. Now, that could just mean that they are working on multiple games for the future, but in my opinion, I do think the majority of that timeline he's referring to and the large expectations for revenue are GTA. If we look at the revenue for Take-Two Interactive, we can see that in 2023 it was $5.3 billion. Well, based on that interview that they did 6 months ago, they are estimating a revenue gain of $8 billion, which would put us all the way up here. Now, if those expectations are correct, I think this stock is going to go up even higher than it already is now. Year to date, this stock has been going up like crazy. It almost resembles multiple tech companies in the market. If we take a look at this stock price, we can see year to date, it is up 52%. And I believe after this trailer releases, if it gets good sentiment from the crowd and from the potential gamers, it could go even higher. But let's jump back into this interview and see if we can gain any more knowledge about this company.
For 5 million units in an individual release, titles like Red Dead and Borderlands, BioShock, Civilization, and many others.
Part of what you've been able to do, too, is raise prices. Even though consumers are a little more cautious about things, what have you seen in terms of your ability to connect with people and to have price increases?
Well, on a real basis, of course, we've been lowering prices for a long time because we haven't even kept up with inflation, not even close over the past 20 years. And we offer this extraordinary amount of entertainment because people will play an individual game for 30, 50, 100 hours or more. So people price their entertainment on basically price per hour and terminal value of owning the item if they own it. And we think the price per hour is very modest in consumers' mind, and they get a great value.
A 2-hour concert costs you $150.
Right.
$70 for a software.
You could be playing for hundreds of hours.
Just tell me, so I want to know where we are in the process here.
Let me just reiterate, this interview is 6 months ago, and we're starting to see a lot of questions that were already covered brought up today. What am I speaking of, you may be wondering? And that is the price of GTA 6. There's a lot of speculation out there and a lot of YouTube videos anticipating that this game could be the most expensive game ever released. Some estimates were in the $150 range. But as we just saw in that interview, the CEO is very adamant on the fact of keeping prices low. He understands that people play these games for hundreds of hours at a time, even though they only purchased it one time for $70. But to his credit and to Rockstar's credit, it sounds like they will not be raising the price of Grand Theft Auto 6. In addition to that, I think it's important to mention that Rockstar understands they can earn significantly more money after somebody has already purchased the game with in-purchase items. Moreover, I think they understand they don't want to price out their potential consumers. If they raise the price of this game to $100, $115, well, they just eliminated a large portion of the market that would have bought it if it was $70. Now, with that being said, let's take a look at the financials of Take-Two Interactive and see what they can improve on in the future. As of right now, this company is trading at $157 per share. Taking a look at some of the financials, we'll start with the valuation section. The market cap of this company is currently $26 billion. Do not have a current PE, but the forward PE is 22. As far as the balance section, they have on hand $800 million in cash, and they are in debt $2.6 billion, which nets out to negative $1.8 billion. If we take a look at the revenue, it looks pretty healthy with a slight plateau, but over the recent years, it has been going up pretty substantially. Looking right down here at the bottom, we can see that in the last 10 years, it's increased by nearly 16%, and in the last year, their revenue has increased by 52%. That is massive. As for the free cash flows, this company has been a gamble. From 97 up until 2014, this company varied. Some years it was positive, some years it was in the negative. From 2014 on, we can see that this company was positive free cash flow and then had a major dip in 2022 and 2023. Now, this isn't good for shareholders. This clearly means that the company is losing money, but I want to see if they are still paying stock-based compensation to their employees while they're losing cash. And the answer to that question would be yes. As we can see, that blue line is stock-based compensation. In 2023, they had a negative free cash flow of $200 million, yet they paid their employees $317 million in stock, therefore diluting us as the shareholder. Similar to the free cash flow, we had a plateau for quite a few years. We had a rise and then a big drop off in 2023. As for the cash to debt ratio, I do like to see that they had a substantial amount of cash on hand for a number of years. And not only having cash on hand, but it looked like they prioritized saving cash every single year, which is the graph you're looking at now. In 2022 and 2023, we can see that same drop off. It looks like they spent a lot of cash. Could this be for upcoming games like GTA 6? I'm not really sure. One thing we always take a look at are shares outstanding. Is Take-Two Interactive diluting us as the shareholder? Well, based on this graph, I would have to say yes. Since their existence in 1997, they have been diluting shareholders. It seems like nearly every year they are increasing the number of shares that they have. This not only dilutes us as the shareholder, but it actually makes our stock worth less and less. This is something I would definitely like to see a change in the future. And if we take a look at the returns on capital employed, we can see that last year they actually had a negative return on capital employed of 9.44%. Years prior to that, it was very low, around that 10% to 16%. With that being said, they did have some years with a large spike, like 2014, where it was 31%. That is well above average and very healthy in my opinion. But it just doesn't look like they can maintain that same growth. It's very up and down, and unpredictable. If we take a look at Rockstar's Games Instagram page, they are doing some serious marketing, and for pretty cheap, I might add. If we take a look here at the top, we can see that they only have one post on their Instagram account. That means they deleted every single other post that they had for previous games just to highlight the one that they just put up. And there you have it, folks. Trailer number 1 is coming out tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. If we look at how people are reacting to this news, it looks pretty positive. This post alone has nearly 6 million likes and almost 100,000 comments. That is huge. And I believe that number is only going to go up in the future. So as an investor, how should we take this news and how should we implement it into our investment strategy so that we can profit off of this? Well, let me first start off by saying that investing in this company is a bet either way. As the CEO mentioned in the interview we just watched, they're predicting that revenue growth for 2025 and 2026, which would lead me to believe that the release date is not going to be this upcoming year, but in 2025. Therefore, if you're buying into the stock here, you should be prepared for a drop off and then a potential spike in the future when the game actually releases. While this could be a potentially short-term play, I think this is going to be a long-term play to see substantial returns. Additionally, after looking at the financials of this company, it is not a company that I would want to invest my money in. Do I think GTA 6 is going to be successful? Absolutely. Unless this trailer completely tanks, which I don't think will be the case, I think there is a lot of adjustments that this executive team needs to take in order to get this company back on track. But that is just my prediction for this, and I would love to hear your predictions as well. Is this a company that you'll be investing in the future? Or do you think you'll stay away from this one and focus on more long-term stocks? If you found any value out of this video, subscribe. I post videos every week. And of course, stick around if you want to see me grow this portfolio. If you want exclusive content, check out the Patreon, link in the description. And I will see you guys in the next one. Take care.